Specialist Language Services is a language school based in York, in the north of England. They offer a range of language training programs and cross-cultural communication awareness. David Wilson is a senior trainer at SLS. How important is cross-cultural awareness in the business world today?
Well, I think cross-cultural awareness is one of those must-have things. We're living in a global world, a world that's becoming ever more global, and certainly in large companies, large groups of companies, I think it's less and less possible to do a good job at whatever level of the company you are, unless you have a kind of wide international perspective. I think it depends. Perhaps some people in the company, like sales and marketing, need more international cross-cultural awareness, and because of the nature of their job, and they're often going out looking for new markets, selling. People who work perhaps in the financial sectors, maybe a little bit less. It used to be the case that engineers and technicians didn't feel they needed cross-cultural awareness in their job, but actually that's changed too a lot in recent years, and technicians too, the frontline people, are often the people now who have to go out to China, India, for days or weeks at a time. So I think it's becoming really essential. It's becoming essential.
What are the main difficulties in working across cultures?
I think the main problem in working across cultures are time differences. It's a very simple fact, but we live in a world with different time zones. So if you go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning in Beijing and you need to make a phone call to the United States, you obviously don't do it at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning in China. You have to wait 7 or 8 hours until they come to work. The other thing, of course, is language. There are differences even within Europe about politeness, for example, how direct you can be. Americans have particularly American business people, have a reputation of being more direct, certainly than people in Europe or the Far East. And this can create frictions. There's also the fact that, quite simply, laws and regulations are certainly not harmonised throughout the world. And sometimes it's just a question of people assuming in one country that the laws and regulations are the same in another country, and then they find they're not, and they don't know where to get the information. Those are external barriers, really, to successful communication.
What is the best way for people to address those difficulties?
Well, I think one of the best ways of improving cross-cultural awareness is through the more widespread provision of English language training courses, because there's nothing like improving your awareness of other cultures than learning a language. And I say English language courses because English is the global language of business. But I would also want to say that I think that English speakers throughout the world should also, I would hope that in the future, they would take much more seriously than they do at present the learning of other languages, because communication and cross-cultural communication should be a two-way street. It shouldn't just be one way, as unfortunately it is at the moment. However, I think there's also a case for the provision of cross-cultural, the greater, more widespread provision of cross-cultural workshops and seminars. They're not a substitute for going to the country and experiencing life and work there, but they can be a good preparation. The third way, I think, of increasing cross-cultural awareness is to increase opportunities for employees at different levels of the company to work in subsidiaries or work with customers even in the country that they need to learn about. Obviously, not all employees want to do this, but I think if companies worked out a kind of variety of work placements of varying lengths of time, they would probably find the take-up was greater. And that's obviously the best way to learn about other cultures, actually go there. The best way to learn about other cultures is to go to the country, live there, work there, experience the frustrations, make mistakes sometimes, not serious mistakes, but you make cultural mistakes, you do, and you learn from them.